You got an audible? Audible? This is really
Welcome back to the Student Media Podcast, everybody. I'm Evan Couch, as always, co-host, joined by Deacon Tuttle, the man, the myth, the legend, who has a fresh fade with us today.
Dude,
Look at that.
Yeah, dude, my friend actually, he does haircuts in the area. I don't know if I want to give his name away, but if anybody wants to hit us up in the comment section for the first time ever, maybe I can plug him.
This is gonna be a real secretive episode we got here with a little anonymous sources and things like that we were talking about beforehand in the pre-show notes.
Yep.
You don't want to give away your source. Our guest here, he's got some sources that we're not going to drop any names of for some of the stuff he does. But speaking of which, our guest, he is our very own football equipment manager here at Central Washington. And on the media related side, he runs I love it, a very, very, very cool Instagram page. He's got a very big following on there, almost 3,000 followers. So we'll be sure to link that down below. We have with us Nick Sun. What's going on, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. It's good to have you on here because we got the media stuff going, right? Like that's what we're looking for. But at the same time, we're also looking for interesting people. So I think you cover all the bases right there. First off, I want to start by asking you, so your two roles that I mentioned right there. First one, obviously related directly to Central, football equipment manager. Walk us through what's like a day in the life of you look like. Let's say in season, your typical day in the life, and then out of season day in the life, because I don't think people realize how much work actually goes into the kind of stuff that you do.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see. So we start in season. So we have practices. And so one thing unique about my position is I was a one-man team equipment manager. So I was the one that had to do all the the decals, the fixing of all the gear, fitting, all that stuff. I don't get me wrong, I had some help too, but I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. So I'm actually going to start off season just to start, because we're in there right now. So basically what my thing looks like is my schedule, I should say, looks like. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we usually have these things called Wildcat Edge. Is basically like winter conditioning, and I have to wake up at 4 a.m. for that. Yeah, so kind of
still early.
Yeah, I gotta wake up for that, and then I go over and I go to the field. I go help set up, and honestly, it's not too big of a setup because usually we just use cones and all that stuff. But yeah, other than that, I also help out with during practices and in season and off season. I help DJ the music a little bit, so whatever the players like, I throw it on the CWU football playlist on my phone, and then I'll just put it on there. And sometimes Coach Fisk and I, we like to plan out the music schedules. So one schedule will have, go with whatever the kids want, and then for this part, go with Metallica or something.
What are the go-to songs right now? What's on the shuffle?
Honestly, lately it's just been putting on shuffle, but what's been playing so far, I've been playing a lot of Led Zeppelin.
Oh, let's go.
Metallica, some what was it? T Grizzly for some of the players that like that. Drake, just all the classic, Meek Mill, all that stuff.
You had me at Zeppelin. I mean, I like all the other ones too, don't get me wrong, but Zeppelin is, if you're starting a practice off with Zeppelin, that's going to be a high energy practice, I think.
Oh yeah, gotta be. Yeah.
So shifting to the in season, what's that like?
Okay, in season. So in season's pretty big. So obviously we still have practices, and they're kind of late practices too, especially in the fall, since it's going to get darker faster. So basically, in season for let's just talk about game days now. So game days, basically, I wake up and I just make sure I have all my coaching and attire all ready to go, all that good stuff, yada yada yada. And honestly, I'm not usually in till around 12, maybe 11, just to because I don't really have much to do. The only thing I really need to do is getting laundry baskets ready for after the game, but that's pretty much it. But I usually start out my day at 1 o'clock. We all meet down at the Cirque. That's our recreation at school, obviously. and we basically just have a team lunch, and then after that, that's when we go set up for games. So I would get my equipment bag, and then I would roll out all of the equipment gear, like extra helmets, extra jerseys, all that stuff onto the sideline. And then once the players get there, they ask me for stuff like, tape, or not really tape actually, but like screws if they need their helmet tightened or any of that, all that good stuff. And then once game time hits, I'm on the sideline. Whatever equipment they need, then I'm their man. So it's been pretty, actually, this season was pretty chill because surprisingly, there wasn't too many dings and damages done. So yeah, that's pretty much how my season looks. So
What's
and
like
then inventory too.
what's like the most tedious kind of just annoying little task that's kind of reoccurring that you have to deal with on the day-to-day basis?
Oh man, so I wouldn't say this is a reoccurring one, but probably the most annoying thing I had to do this season was during away games. Since I'm the only equipment manager,
Yeah, that's
I
tough.
had to pack 53 bags full of jerseys and pants, travel jackets, travel sweatpants, and let me tell you, that was the biggest pain in the butt because you had to number them, like because there were numbers on the tags, and you had to write down which player got player like so and so got number 9 travel pants, got number 10,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, so that was like probably the biggest pain in the butt job. But I just got it done. I just had to time everything out. That's how I got through it.
And you're keeping all that up here, like the numbers and stuff like that. That's on you. You have to focus on making sure you get it all right and making sure, like, do you have someone double check that, or are you your own guy who has to double check that?
No, I'm my own guy to double check it.
That's incredible. That's incredible that
it was
gotta stay
it was a
poised
pretty
right there.
tedious task.
But
So-
sorry, hold on. I just want to say, like, lifting all those bags. I mean, what'd you say, 52, 53 bags, moving them in and out. I would imagine you walked out with probably about 10 pounds of muscle on you at the end of the season. Just
Oh,
from
yeah.
those things over your shoulder.
Easily.
Getting those gains the unconventional way. That's what we like to see. Right?
Yeah,
Like
so
a football team,
So like the day before we leave, or the players leave, because I never traveled, I would take all the bags out after practice, and then I would put them and lay them all out for the players. And then all the players would have tags on the bag that has their name and number. And I would just toss them like, here's your bag, here's your bag, here's your bag, here's your bag. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
You don't travel with the team?
Not really, because D2 we don't have that much like funding, so
Yeah.
I have to stay back usually. But there was one game I was able to travel with the team, which was up to Vancouver, BC, and and that's when we played Simon Fraser, and that was a pretty fun trip, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, except for the fact that we had one of our buses break down and we stayed in Canada until like 12 and didn't get back to Ellensburg like at 4 a.m.
That's a memory right there.
Oh yeah.
I can only see
You're one
international traveling as a nightmare. Sorry, Deacon, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I was just saying that's just an eventful memory right there. If you're to have a trip, that's one to look back on. Well, I wanted to ask you, Nick, a little bit about your past with football and how you got to this position right now, and where maybe some of your passions come from. And do you always have a passion for football gear and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I started liking football in middle school around 7th grade, and I just honestly I didn't really take note much of the equipment because I wanted to get to know the sport first, obviously, and then once I got better at the sport, that's when I would focus more on the equipment side of things. But yeah, like when I started really playing in 8th grade, that's when I started noticing all the cool gear that NFL players and college players wear. Like I saw like these generic cleats I wore at stores, and then I see on TV. Wait,
like that's not what they're wearing.
Custom stuff. I'm just like,
Like,
I want that.
I can't find those at Big Five.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, but then once I got to high school, that's when I started buying a crap ton of gear. And then after high school, and then my senior year of high school, we won state champions, so that was a great experience to have.
Yep.
And that's when I kind of like after that game ended, that's where I want to cut my career off, as a champion. So that's when I was just like, you know what? I kind of like equipment and I like being around it and I like, like messing with it all, like helmets and all that stuff. So I was just thinking, maybe equipment management is in my future. And so
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what, I might look into it. But at first, when I came to Central, I didn't realize I wasn't sure if we had one because we were kind of a small school. So, but then after doing some digging and researching with some of my advisors, I was able to find this position, and they just told me who to contact, and that's how I'm in the position I am right now.
That's great. That's a really cool opportunity to be able to take something that you've loved for like a majority of your life. And I know that Evan and I probably can empathize with, the wanting to continue something you're passionate about. Like for me, it was baseball, but I don't have that same, I just got to watch it now or throw around the ball or, Evan, same thing with football. You just, cherishing those days, counting down the days until the season comes back. But you're able to, be around the game still and take that and then also have like a new facet to it. So it's a really cool.
Right.
But then also you're interwoven with the team too, right? Like you feel like you're part of the team still. You're with these guys. These guys are kind of like your brothers now and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a lot more than just carrying on being involved. You're still getting that aspect of feeling like you're part of the team and whatnot. But to pivot real quick, because you talked about it a little bit right there. You mentioned just that bit of passion that's taken over with working with equipment and football stuff in general. So passionate, so much so, right, that you've got an Instagram page dedicated to, this is a big reveal right here, I feel like, because we've talked about it before and how you haven't shown a lot of people, you haven't told a lot of people, you've told me this personally about the stuff that you do, but this is your Instagram page, and just like kind of walk us through it as someone who's never seen this before, someone who's never really looked at anything kind of like this with a page that's dedicated to something like this. How would you explain this to someone, and kind of where did it start and where did it come from?
Okay, so I'll start where it all began. It's humble beginnings. So when I was in 8th grade, I started liking football gloves actually a little more than, because everyone loved the cleats. Everyone likes the custom cleats, and don't get me wrong, I love cleats too. But I don't know, there's something more special about the gloves to me. But maybe it's just because they're cheaper to have around. But
That's so true.
yeah, honestly. But yeah, the gloves, they just, I don't know, something just popped to them about me. And so I was seeing all these pages on Instagram, saying, oh, check out the cleats, gloves, all this football equipment and stuff. And I was just like, I think I'm going to make a page dedicated to football gloves. And so that's when I decided to, I started planning, and I was just like, all right, blah, 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 this, that, what would I do and stuff. And so what I basically came up with is I would show off football gloves that NFL and college athletes are wearing. And so that's when I was like, okay, I started it. And then obviously humble beginnings, like no one really followed it. It was a really low key page. But then I started getting some more followers through guys like, shout out to my guy, Football Equipment, Devin Sleed. That guy's been great. He's given me plenty of shout outs, and that's what's been able to boost my page a little bit. And so then I wanted to do something a little bit more for my page to get more people to follow. And so that's when I decided to do reviews on gloves. Obviously, my glove collection wasn't the biggest at the time. So yeah, as you can see there, I have a rating system kind of for it.
It's awesome.
And so I decided to take these gloves or the gloves that I had and just start testing them, and I would rate them by stars. And I had buddy back home. Shout out to my buddy Josh. He's been my quote unquote quarterback for me to run these, to help me throw and catch passes from.
Nice.
But yeah, that's how it kind of started. And then as my followers started growing more and more, some important people from companies started taking notice, and I also had to reach out to some of these people too. So like Nike is a company that I had to kind of reach out to, but they've noticed my page a little bit. So that's when we talked together, and they like what I was doing. And so I decided to excuse my phone, it's been going off. Anyway, that's when Nike and we decided, they asked me like, if you want to do this, would you want some free stuff? And so I'm just like, oh shoot, I'm game for that. And I said, do I have to give it back? He's like, no, you don't have to give it back. So I was like, oh sweet, okay. So me and my Nike guy, he sent me my first package actually during COVID. And I was just like, okay, these are sick. He just sent me a bunch of like Nike gloves. Like there were some 49er gloves, UNC gloves, all these NFL like Jordan gloves. It was pretty cool. So I was just like, oh, this is sick. So then I started reviewing them. I put my reviews out. And then other companies started taking notice, like Tyreek Hill's Grip Boost, Adidas, Cutters, Phenom Elite, and Invictus gloves, all those glove companies, and then NXT R&D, they all started reaching out to me saying like, hey, would you do reviews on our gloves and all that stuff. And then as I post their reviews and they shared it, I noticed my followers kept going up and up and up and up and up. And so that's how the page is today. And that's how it is today now.
Would you say that moment back in COVID when you got that first package, full of just a lot of goodies from Nike, was that kind of like the, oh, I made it moment? Like I've got something here that I'm definitely going to work with, and you felt not necessarily an accomplishment, but like, well, yeah, it is an accomplishment. I would say it is. But then at the same time, you also felt like you're heading in the right direction, right? Was that kind of that moment for you?
Yeah, definitely was. I would say my first Nike package and my first Adidas package was like when I was like, okay, my page is going to start going legit now.
I mean, it's incredible. You cover all the bases here. Like
I tried to.
I've been following you forever, obviously, and I've always, when I met you and when I found out that just it's a small world moment, like I've been following you since I was in middle school, and then we met, and then I found out that you were the one who runs this page. It was definitely one of the crazier things that's happened in my life, just in terms of odd coincidences, that just stuff that doesn't happen often. But, you cover all the bases. You've got, you show off stuff in your collection like these. Oh, look, there's me commenting on this. You show off stuff in your collection, you do the reviews, you do the actual part that kind of pertains to your page as Football Glove Stalker, where you're looking at what NFL players are wearing, stuff like that. Just it's like a keen eye thing, but it's also just a super passionate thing about how, you're working with what you love to do. And that's something that I think everyone strives for in life.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is probably like your favorite, like is it doing the reviews? Is it making the posts? Is it talking with the companies? What's your favorite part about it?
Oh man, that's asking all the hard questions there, aren't you? I would say honestly, putting out the reviews is probably one of my favorite things, just because it's like, a lot of people just like, they really appreciate my reviews, and they always, I see so many likes on them and stuff. So it means I must be making a difference in the football world. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like my whole thing, I'm not a crazy preacher or anything, but I am a Christian, and we've talked about how like purpose in life, and I think my purpose in life was truly to, serve others, and that's my football equipment, and then giving back to others, and this is my glove page. And the way I'm fulfilling my my gift of giving back to others is, like putting out these reviews and giving out information to people. And when people send me DMs about how I'm doing a great work and they love my page, and they ask me for advice on what glove to buy next, like that's how I just feel like, that's truly the purpose that's being fulfilled, like through my faith. So
that's really cool. That's awesome. What would you say, like, for like recently, that's something that's really stood out to you for your page that you're like excited about? Maybe, that you've done just like a post you want to celebrate, or an interaction you've had, like that stands out to you.
I can go back. I can go back to it. Okay, I'm here. If there's anything on here,
wasn't too recent, but actually kind of recent-ish. There's I've actually had a few NFL players share some of my posts and like some of my posts, and so cool. One guy, or a few guys actually, 2 guys that actually have been in contact with me and actually DMing me like back and forth about it, are 2 New Orleans Saints players. safety Tyrann Mathieu, and defensive lineman Cameron Jordan. Those guys have been awesome to talk to, man. Like
Jordan guys, both Jordan guys.
Wow.
exactly, yeah, both Jordan guys, man. And Tyrann Mathieu, he shares my posts, and we don't really talk much, but me and Cameron Jordan, throughout the season, we went back and forth all the time talking about like what glove you wearing and stuff. And there was kind of an embarrassing time when I think the Saints were playing. You know, I'm sorry for there's a lot of Seahawks fans here, but I'm a 49er fan, and when the Saints played the 49ers, I think Cameron Jordan was inactive, and I messaged him. I said, "What are the gloves looking like today?" He said, "I'm not playing, bro." I'm just like, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I just saw the injury. I just saw the injury report. I'm so sorry."
He wasn't wearing these ones right here, unfortunately, because he was not playing.
Yeah, but yeah, those are usually his go-tos. So his black and gold ones, and then he has on his other hand, he has a pair of white and gold ones. So he likes to do the mismatch type thing.
That's probably a super surreal feeling, just being a huge fan of football and being so involved, here at Central and doing your day-to-day life and the page, obviously. If you would have like a dream, like interaction with an athlete or somebody you wanted to hang out with sometime, just geeking out about equipment, who would you pick if you had anybody?
Let's think.
Good question. That's a really good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Honestly, if it came down to it, I would probably go with, and no bias, my boy wide receiver Deebo Samuel.
Oh,
He just
Deebo.
signed a deal with Jordan this season, and let me tell you, he has some of the coolest gloves this season. By far the coolest gloves I've seen.
That's the second Deebo drip shout out we've had on this podcast, and we are not a football show.
Yeah.
Trajan Henderson, on the football team.
Oh yeah, Trajan.
We had him on, and he said Deebo was like probably one of the drippiest players in the league. So
yeah.
This is a Deebo show now. Apparently, I'm gonna have to get a Deebo.
We gotta have him on the podcast.
Honestly,
oh yeah,
he's gonna come on.
Seems like an intimidating guy, but I think we could crack that hard shell.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, obviously you're building your brand a little bit, and you're going towards the end. You're getting towards the end of your college career, but the page is your own. You can do whatever you want with the page. It doesn't directly relate to what you do here at Central, but it is really cool that you have that connection between the two. What do you see in your future? What's your plan? What's your goal when it's all said and done with your page, but also with what you do on the day-to-day, with what you want your career to be?
Yeah, for sure. So starting with the page, I just hope, like after I'm done with college here, there's going to be a little gap. I know there's going to be a little gap where I probably won't find an official job right away. So I kind of want to put my focus and energy on three things: my faith, and then, just a little job on the side, and then of course my Instagram page. And so with my Instagram page, I hope to I hope I can do like more and more stuff with it, like more interactive stuff with the followers. And, you've seen my posts about like voting on like who has the best gloves and all that stuff. And then hopefully I can get some more reviews out for like new gloves coming in the spring. But yeah, that's my biggest hope for my page. And then my future is like, I've actually been looking at jobs for equipment management, and that's actually just equipment management is just one step of my goal. And my goal is to, eventually work for either Nike or Adidas football department, working and with their products and something like that, something along those lines. But I've been in contact with a few equipment management places, either whether it's university or NFL. But yeah, I've been in contact with both. So I'm not going to name any teams yet because I don't want to, say them and then it doesn't happen. So yeah, I'll be applying to those jobs soon.
That's big though. I mean, congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Getting your foot in the door, getting pointed in the right direction, but at the same time, also having that kind of self-awareness that you might have that time to work on your page and grow your page. I guess one of the last questions I have that are related to the more media side of things, what's your advice that you'd give to someone, that wants to do something along your lines? They want to start an Instagram page dedicated to something they're really passionate about, and they want to build followers just to find common-minded people and just, be part of a community, because that's really what it is, right? It's being part of a community. And there's those little communities within every aspect of
Yep.
pretty much everything you do. You know, you see people who have they follow pages about cars or motorcycles, snowboarding, skiing, golf pages, fishing, things like that. There's a community everywhere, and it's like if you find that niche, and you kind of have that niche right there because you are like the center point of a football glove community on social media. Not there's it's like that's a 1 in a million thing, if I'm being honest, you know. It's like in your head you're sitting there thinking, do people care about this? But they
Yeah.
do, right? Because they follow you and you're out here doing it. So what would you tell someone? What would you say to someone who wants to get started?
Oh, I would just tell them work hard and follow your dream, man. Like I know that sounds super like simple, but it's true. Like literally, like I at first when I first started this page, I really didn't think anyone was going to follow it, and I didn't think that I was going to be where I am today. Like at one point, even like my sophomore year of high school, I was just like, I'm done with this page, man. I'm going to quit. And but then like people will notice, like people will notice your hard work and all the work you put into your pages. And so that's what happened with me. Like football equipment, man. Like he's a big part of the football community. Like without a doubt, he is. And he shared a lot of my posts, and that's when a bunch of people started noticing me. And yeah, so and then basically, yeah, their hard work will get you places, man. You got to work for it. Like that's gonna be the biggest key of like if you ever want to start something like this.
Does it feel like work because of how much you like it?
Honestly, it's a little bit of both of work and just having fun. This is a hobby I have. It's been a lot of fun doing it, but yeah, I do kind of see it as a job too. Because I'm a founder, is what I put on my resume.
Yep. There
Right.
you are.
So yeah.
So, but with that work and stuff, do you feel pressure to make sure what you're putting out is kind of high quality stuff, or do you feel pressure to make sure that it's constantly growing, or do you kind of just let what happens happen?
I mean, I do a little bit of both. Like, I don't want to put too much stress on it because I have other stuff to do.
Right.
I have a personal life too, but I definitely want to for sure give my followers the best content that I can, and whether it's like whether it's like pictures or like videos of stuff or like in all that goodies, all that stuff. But like, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of both. Like I said, um, I feel like there is a pressure just because I don't see football equipment as like competition because him and I are friends. Like
Yeah.
he covers everything and I cover just gloves. But I wouldn't mind posting something about something first, before him. That'd be kind of cool just because they got it from Football Glove Stalker, and and we give each other credit. Like all the Football Glove community pages, we give each other credit on like who posted first and all that stuff. So I mean, yeah, it really doesn't like not much pressure there, I should just say.
That's awesome. I mean, it's just you get to do what you love, and you've turned your hobby into something that's really successful, and I think is only getting more successful, especially as football is growing and the brand. And there's so many. I mean, before, think about it, it's like there wasn't all these different brands for specifically football gloves, and that's just from my knowledge. At the time, it was like you had Cutters, you had Nike, you had Under Armour, and you had Adidas. That was really about it. And now there's all sorts of brands that are kind of starting up.
Right.
And you see it with like the tournaments across the country, like 7-on-7s. They're sponsored by like Battle Customs and Victus or NX. What was that one?
NXT R&D or Next Trend, I should say.
Yeah. So stuff like that. So it's growing, and I think with that, I think your page is going to grow alongside that because you're out there. You're the one who's you're the focal point of showing these people what's coming out and stuff like that, or one of them at least.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Deacon, you got anything left for Nick here?
I got a fun question for everyone. Does everyone here play Madden still?
I was just playing it. I just won the Super Bowl with my Raiders franchise build.
Well, how are we feeling about the equipment in the game currently?
Don't.
The equipment in the game? Hey, I think it's pretty good, man. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gotten
It's
better.
good.
It's gotten way better, and I mean way better. But if I'm gonna start an Instagram page, it's gonna be ripping down EA for just the terrible stuff, like how bad they've been at keeping up to date with what's going on. It drives me up a wall, but I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I mean, I just got the update, and the new super bad and vapor jets are out, so I ain't complaining.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, there you go. That's what I was looking for. We got a good balanced opinion here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say thanks, Nick, for coming on and for sharing your passion with us and
Mhm.
everyone else, and just giving the inspiration to other people. Because I know that I want to do some more stuff, and this gives me the encouragement to go out and have a risk and putting yourself out there. Because that ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what it is too. And you get friends along the way, and there's always people to support you. And I just think it's really cool. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
I want everyone to go and follow this page, Football Glove Stalker. Even if you don't care about football or specifically football equipment, go give Nick a follow. Let's see if we can get him to 3,000 soon. Look at that. You're seeing it live right here. The Student Media Podcast Instagram is giving Football Glove Stalker.
there.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it.
I follow you on my personal already, like I mentioned before. So I mean,
Yeah,
you can't get me there. But Nick,
Fire.
can't just appreciate you for coming on, man, telling your story and talking about your passion, just like Deacon said. It's been fun. And a little preview, we got a little CNW piece in the works coming up between Nick and I, a little story about this. So there's going to be a more visual story coming out. So if everyone wants to see that, they want to see a little more inside look about with what Nick does, be sure to keep an eye out for CNW the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to try my best to produce an award-winning story in Terry's eyes.
There we go, man. Student media, putting in the effort. We're mixing all the different realms here now.
A for effort, B plus for effort in that class.
Always.
All right, Nick, can't thank you enough. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Sun, Football Glove Stalker. Let's give a round of applause. Round of
Appreciate
applause.
it, guys. Thanks for
3,000
having
coming
me.
soon. 3,000 coming soon. Student Media Podcast signing out. Appreciate you guys.
See ya.